Can you describe your early work?
I think my early paintings were so primitive, for the most part. They're so, primitive is the word I keep coming back to. They're incredibly simple. A little of this, a little of that on a monochromatic field. The point about them, or the pleasure to be taken from them, or the meaning that they might create, it has all to do with the specific weights and temperatures of the juxtapositions, not just of the images themselves, but of how the images are painted or rendered, and how they are presented, in what terms and in what proximity to other images. So they're very sensitized spaces in which all this stuff happens. My work is a series of modifiers. It's this thing modified by something else, and those two things are modified by a third, and the three of them are modified by a fourth, until it no longer requires or will allow any further modification.
And what's interesting about that?
What's interesting about it? I don't know. I never said it was interesting. I was simply trying to make a new kind of beauty. That, for me, the beauty lie precisely in the ensemble, this thing mitigated by that thing, under the overarching umbrella of that thing, and that it's like a chord. What's beautiful about a chord? I don't know if the chord has the right triadal structure, if the notes are the right distance away from each other on the chromatic scale, the chord affects us, gives access to emotion. I've often said, I think of myself sometimes as an orchestrator or an arranger. I'm orchestrating these things in their relative densities. The other analogy, the other obvious analogy is to poetry itself, that the way meaning is made in poetry, it's the accretion of meaning in one line after another, one word after another, with the meaning is twofold. It's the literal meaning of the words themselves, but it's also the way the stresses fall, where the stresses fall, and how that changes or bends or extends the meaning, the literal meaning of the words. I don't think painting is fundamentally different. It's just recognizing what those analogous devices are.